Hello, class, and welcome to week 6 of BUAD 201. It was wonderful meeting everyone this past Friday in our class and our live session. I appreciate everybody who made it out. And again, it was so wonderful meeting you all and putting the faces to the names that I've been grading each week. So, welcome to week 6. This week, we're going to be discussing the importance of writing emails, and we're going to visit some of the basic tools to apply when you are writing emails. Email is such an important part in today's business world that it's important that we know how to compose email. What kind of tools should we use while writing email? Who is our audience of the email that we're sending this to? So it's such a common means of communication in the workplace that it's important that you learn how to master writing emails in the workplace, because not only is your boss or supervisor going to be looking at these emails, but potential clients will be looking at it. Coworkers will be looking at it as well too. So this week you will get a good solid foundation on how to write emails, which is the basis of chapter 7 in your textbook. In addition, you're also going to have a class form. It's a discussion form where you're going to need to participate, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. You're going to have about 3 posts to complete, so it is important that you do complete those 3 posts before the end of the week. Your main post is due on Friday, September 29th, and then your 2 remaining posts need to be in by Sunday, October 1st for the deadline. So we have a few different tasks for you to complete this week. The first task is to read chapter 7 in your textbook. Then again, watch this weekly class video lecture. You're also going to need to complete your chapter 7 mind tap homework, and you're going to need to complete your 3 posts in the class form. Number 1 under the files attachments for this week. Again, the main post is due Friday, and your 2 response posts are due on Sunday. So let's look at the files and attachments for this week. First, I want to introduce this business career fair. On Wednesday, September 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Titan Student Union, Mahalo College will be hosting its business career fair for students seeking internships, part-time and full-time opportunities. Right now, there are over 45 companies registered from a variety of industries, including anything from consumer goods, hospitality, real estate, finance, banking, accounting, operations, logistics, retail, and many more. Some of the participating companies which will be there are Tesla Motors, Macy's, Hormel Foods, Target, Sports One Marketing, CVS Health, the Irvine Company, Enterprise Rent-A-Cars. These are 8 great companies right here, along with an additional over 35 more companies that will be there as well. If you want to see a full list of participating companies, you can always stop by the office in SGMH 401. And then we'll also be going over the Chapter 7 lecture right now, which is an email etiquette and business writing workshop that I present. And let's go ahead and look at your class form. This is what you're going to have to complete for your work this week. We won't have any class activities for you to complete this week for a lecture. The only thing you'll have to worry about is completing your mind tap homework, and then of course this class form. So let's go ahead and click on it. This is going to be worth 15 points of your participation grade. So you will post a total of 3 times for this week's discussion. Please consider the feelings of others. You don't want to use foul language. You don't want to put people down negatively. You're more than welcome to disagree with people, but please do it in a respectful manner. Any sign of someone flaming in the discussion board, using foul language, or putting someone down in a negative way will receive an automatic 0 for the assignment and will be removed and reported. So you have to complete the following. 1 main post, which is due on Friday, September 29th by 11:55. Please click on the link below titled Email Writing and Communication. Respond for main post, which is right here, and answer the discussion question. You're just going to click on reply. This is your 1 main post you must complete. Your answer should be substantive in length, meaning you should provide details and reasoning in your answer, a minimum of 100 words. You can use reasoning, examples, or anything else you think would be helpful in your answer. If you post after the main post deadline, which is on Saturday or Sunday, you will receive a 2.5 point deduction from your main post. And then you're also going to need to complete 2 responses. So you have 1 main post and 2 responses. Each post is going to be worth 5 points. So 5 points for your main post, 5 points for response number 1, and 5 points for response number 2. So in addition, you must respond to at least 2 other posts. These responses could be replies to main posts written by your classmates, or a reply post written by your classmates. Each response you write will count as one of the 2 response posts required. In your reply, you can discuss whether you agree, disagree with their post, and why. You can ask questions to further expand in the conversation. Maybe you can provide some details and examples, and then ask questions maybe for the class or the person who wrote the post, or even provide personal experiences or outside sources to the conversation. Each one of your 2 responses should be at least 75 words. So once you click on this, it's going to go ahead and take you in a discussion question. And when you are ready to reply, you will just click reply right here. Let's go ahead and put this is a test reply. And we'll click post to form. And you will see your reply right here. And the replies will start stacking up underneath here. So what you can do is when you start seeing people, some of your classmates responding to this question here, they're going to start stacking up here. Let's go ahead and put another reply. So you're going to see them posting up right here. So what you need to do is not only do you need to reply to this question here, but you have to respond to at least 2 of your classmates. So maybe if you want to respond to, let's say, my first reply post, you could click here, and then you would reply to this test reply. And you will see what it looks like. So once you start replying to people, it will start stacking up here like a tree formation. So now in the workplace, email communication has evolved, and it's considered one of the easiest ways to communicate with people in the workplace, whether it's your boss, a coworker, or client. So it's important to make sure that you utilize the tools that we discussed today and that are in your textbook as well when you do write email. And you need to apply these to your writing skills. Not only will your boss or supervisor be critical when you communicate over email, but even potential clients may consider this an important means of communication. The way you write an email can be a deciding factor on whether or not a potential client will decide to move forward with your business. So please respond to the following. Discuss something you have learned in our class, lectures, or textbook regarding email communication. Why do you feel this is important in the workplace? How do you plan to implement this tool while writing email? What can you do to make sure you continue to implement this in your writing style? Please be sure to explain and provide reasoning, examples, or outside sources to help back up your explanation. So once you are ready to respond to this question, you will click the reply button right here. You will write your reply, and then you will post it, and it will end up right here. And then what you will need to do is you will need to respond to at least 2 of those. You can respond to any replies from your classmates, and you just need to respond to 2 replies as well. So let's go back to our class. And let's go ahead and begin the Chapter 7 lecture. So I decided to do something a little different for this lecture. This lecture from Chapter 7 is going to discuss some of the tools that you can apply when you are writing an email and how to properly compose an email. So I'd like to give you a lecture on a workshop that I actually host for California State University Fullerton, our school. I complete this workshop with the Human Resources Department for some of the deans, and even administrative assistants, assistant deans, and any other staff that may be interested. So let's go ahead and begin. And a lot of these tips and tools are actually in Chapter 7 of your textbook. So please make sure to read Chapter 7, make sure you have a good understanding regarding email etiquette and business writing. So some of the learning outcomes from today's presentation that I'm going to give is that you're going to be able to compose effective and efficient email in the workplace in a shorter amount of time. And this is fantastic because when you're able to create shorter emails which are more effective and efficient, not only are you saving yourself time, but you're saving your reader time. When I worked at the .com as a marketing manager, I used to receive about 200 emails per day, and I would spend an average about 3 minutes reading an email. Now, if I can save about 30 seconds to each email, you can see how much time I would save overall throughout the day. So this is why it's important. Not only are you saving yourself time, but you're saving your receiver time as well. The second learning outcome is you're going to understand the different components of email, including the subject line, salutation, body copy, and signature. Each one of these plays an important role when writing an email, especially in a professional organization. You're also going to understand the use of professional writing by studying management, communication, context, perception, and organization. And you're also going to be able to construct finished professional email by analyzing key components of projected target audiences. So remember, we have a target audience of who our email is going to. We're going to write an email differently if it's going to our boss, or to a coworker, or to a potential client, or even a client itself. So understanding your audience is important because that's how you're going to create your email and the items you're going to address in your email. So some of the discussion topics we're going to look at are email issues in organizations, a wall of words, a subject line, salutations, body copies, signatures, receivers, and of course some organization tips. So before we move on, I think it's important to understand the email issues in an organization. So the majority of our inbox contents we have, so right here you can see we have the reply all hell. That's when someone sends an email and copies about 100 people on it, and then one person decides to reply all for a question they have. And then another person replies all to that person saying, please don't reply all. And it becomes about 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 emails all over the span of a week that you're constantly receiving. And then, of course, if you're like me, you like ordering on Amazon or online. So a lot of your emails are going to be confirmations. Then maybe some accidental newsletters of things you didn't sign up for, social media updates, etc. So you can see what's actually important in your inbox, especially when you are working at a business organization. So, our goal is to try to do our best to streamline email and make it more efficient and effective. So that way there isn't a lot of communication going back and forth. So this is what our workshop is going to consist of. This is the workshop overview. So you can see here, I have one bullet point, and from this one bullet point, it's a little difficult to pull out what exactly this workshop is going to entail. However, if this was organized a little bit more effectively, you probably would be able to pull the information much more quickly. So we call this a wall of words. Whenever you see a wall of words like this, it's important to make sure to go back in there and edit it as much as you can. Use the tools you have. Be more concise in your writing. Remember, in business writing, you want to be a lot more concise than your regular English 101 writing style. So this is the same information on this previous slide here, but just organized a little bit more different. So you can see if I asked you really quick, hey, can someone tell me the 4 organization topics we are going to discuss today? Right away you can see these bullet points and this will stand out. Organization topics discussed, and you can see the 4 very easily. Or if I go back right here and I say, hey, what are some of the organization topics we're going to discuss? You're going to have to skim through the email, and then once you come right here, okay, some organization topics discussed, subject line, salutations, body, copy, and signature. But when you go to the next slide, you can see how much more easily it is organized and easy to understand. So let's take a little bit of time to understand the email issues in organizations. So a lot of times spelling and grammar plays an important role. It's important to make sure you run spell check, edit and proofread the email you're sending. Whether if it's just a friendly email or an email to your boss, no matter the importance or less likely for it to be important, it is important for you to run spell check. Make sure you proofread it. And also use proper acronym use. This is a little tip from me. When you're working in a certain department in an organization, some people in your own department may not know what it is you're referring to when you're writing it in an email. I actually learned this the hard way. I had sent an email to the president of the company when I was working as a marketing manager for a .com. And in that email, I brought up the idea to the president of the company to maybe start advertising with SEO and SEM on Google, so search engine marketing and search engine optimization. Well, I didn't spell it out first, and my president did not know what it meant. He ignored the email because he didn't even want to respond, thinking he didn't know what it meant. So it really went for about a week or two before I asked my supervisor, hey, have you heard from the president? Should we do it? And then that's when my supervisor told me, well, he didn't know what SEO or SEM stood for, and so he hasn't researched it yet, and you didn't explain it in the email. So I thought to myself, oh no, I probably should have spelled it out and then talked a little bit about it as well. So whenever you are writing an acronym, let's say for example CSUF, you want to write it out first like this: California State University Fullerton, then put CSUF in parentheses. Same thing with SEO. If I wanted to put search engine optimization, then SEO in parentheses. That way, when I continue my email and I get further down, if I need to write SEO again, I can, and I don't have to spell it out. I can just write SEO because I've already spelled out the acronym. Another issue in an organization are unclear directions. Make sure you have the when, what, where, why, and how in your email. Like if I told everyone, hey guys, your group project is going to be due at the end of the semester. It's very unclear. That doesn't tell you when the due date of your written report is. When are you presenting? It's just very unclear. But if I told you, hey guys, your group project is due, let's just make up a date. Your group project is due January 5th. Well, then you know right away the group project is due on January 5th. Whereas if I just said your group project is due at the end of the semester, that can mean so many different things. It's very, very abstract. You want to be concrete in your writing in emails, it's any kind of business writing. For example, if I say to you, what's the first thing that comes to mind when I tell you green? You probably think of the color green. That's very concrete. But then if I tell you what's the first thing that comes to mind when I tell you love, that's very abstract because we all have different experiences in our life. So the word love is going to mean something different to everybody. So keep that in mind. Then, of course, reply all. There's no need to reply all unless it is very necessary. And then again, adequate response times. Make sure you try to reply within a minimum of 24 hours. And if you are leaving the office on vacation for a couple weeks, there's a way you can put an out of office reply. For those of you who don't know what that is an automatic email that sends to people. When they send you an email, it automatically replies to the people who sent you that email saying, I'm currently out of the office, but if you need to contact someone for an emergency, please contact my colleague. And then it has their contact information. That way the person knows you're out of the office. So first, let's take a look at the subject line overview. As many overlook this component, it should not be written carelessly because this can in turn constitute if the email is deemed to be important by the receiver. So you want to make sure you write a clear and concise subject line where they can understand it easily right away. So some helpful tools. It needs to be clearly written to quickly understand. Try to stay away from long sentences and use key points. Remember, this is the title of the book and it needs to say, open me for more information. Personally, I like staying away from spam detection. Sometimes spam filters will pick up these characters here. However, if you're sending email from your Fullerton account and it's going to another person at fullerton.edu, they know it's within the same server and it won't pick it up as spam, and you can use these characters here. But if you're sending an email from your fullerton.edu account to someone in Gmail or Yahoo, they may pick up this spam filter detection and put your email in the spam folder. So let's look at a scenario. Let's say a coworker must notify another coworker they would like to schedule a meeting for the upcoming week to discuss a marketing project they will work on together. It will be 1 hour sometime the first week of October. So here's some weak subject line examples. I would like to schedule a meeting with you to discuss a project we need to work on together. It's a little vague and it's also long. Meet for project. This is very abstract. It doesn't really say, well, what project? Are we working on it? I don't know anything about it. Or sometimes people just put the word meeting. None of these subject lines give me an idea of what the email is going to entail. Here's some good subject line examples. Meeting request next week hyphen marketing project. So there's a meeting request for next week for marketing project, or marketing project meeting upcoming week, or marketing meeting availability October 3rd through 7th. It kind of gives me an idea of what this email is going to entail. And of course, the less characters you have, the more likely someone's going to open up an email. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be at less than 10 characters to have the maximum ability for someone to open up your email, but keep it short and sweet and to the point. Now what I like to do is take a look at salutations. Salutations are vital because it helps the receiver identify with the email and create a personal connection. This is the hello, Dr. Papulias, or hello, Mr. Smith. If there's more than one receiver, you can use the tools to separate the people's names, which I'll show you on a couple more slides. So if there's one receiver, make sure to type the person's name. First or last name is fine. If you're sending it to a client, you definitely want to use their last name. If it's a little bit more casual, you could use their first name. Use hello, hi, dear, or something to create the initial connection, or even, good morning, Dr. Papulias, something to create a connection, and make sure to insert a comma after their name. If there's more than one receiver, bold each person's name and use the highlighting tool. This way it stands out. So let's take a look at a scenario. So scenario 1, a coworker must contact another coworker. In scenario 2, a coworker must contact 2 other coworkers for a project they are all working on together. So scenario 1, very simple. Hi, John, and then you write your email. Very easy to read and understand. John creates the personal connection with the email, and he knows this email is for him. Scenario 2. Whoops, sorry about that, guys. Let me go back up. Scenario 2. Let's say you're sending it to John and Greg. Well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to highlight John's name, and then I'm going to highlight Greg's name as well. So that way, if I'm Greg, I know this is what is written to me, and I can see it easily. Now, let's say, for example, the first part to John is 2 to 3 paragraphs long, and it's very long, and it goes all the way down, and then Greg opens up the email, and he doesn't see his name right away because his name is all the way down. The best thing to do is before you write to John, so about right here at the beginning of the email, you want to write something along the lines like, hello, John and Greg, I've included some notes for each of you to read. Please see my notes to each of you below. That way it sets up Greg, letting him know that if you can't see it when you open your email, you need to scroll down. The body copy. The body of an email can be the deciding factor of whether a person decides to read the content word for word or skip over some or all of its content. You don't want to discourage them from reading it. Stay away from the wall of words. Use the tools you have. Use bullet points. Use the bolding. Use the colors. Use the underlining tool. Whatever you feel necessary to help create separation. And remember, you need to be concise in your writing. So some helpful tools. Separate subjects in different paragraphs. Cut down copy but still use complete sentences. Make sure to use the tools. And also provide clear direction in your body copy. These are the tools you have. Make sure to use them if you can. It definitely will help. So let's take a look at a scenario. A supervisor receives an email from an employee who needs help with a project, needs some ideas, timeline, etc. The supervisor must provide a coworker some direction on completing their project. How should the supervisor write the email? So here's a good example right here. So, hi, John, and then he opens up to write what he needs to write about first. And then he discusses the 3 different steps he needs to do. First, organize your attempt, put some bullet points. Second, write your report. And third, completing the assignment. Send me the completed written report in an email by Thursday, 9/29. So you can see very clear directions, when he needs to reply back and when he needs to provide that information by, which is right here on Thursday, 9:29. And then let me know if you have any questions. A nice sign off. So you could see how organized this content is and how easy it is to understand. That way, if John, who received this email, opens it up, works on the first part, and then wants to go back to the second part a day later, it's very easy for him to see where he left off. Rather than if you had a wall of words, it would be difficult because now you have to go through and read the entire wall of words paragraph. So let's take a look at your signature. Your signature has two parts, a complimentary close and the actual signature itself. The complimentary close isn't highly as important as the subject, but it's proper etiquette to include one. Stay away from the personal ones, such as warm wishes or love. Can you imagine me sending the class an email and at the end putting love, Dr. Papulius? Probably not going to be too professional or sit well with the school supervisors. So keep it professional. Use best regards, thank you, or even sincerely is fine as well too. And then your signature is important because this gives your title, your name, your contact info, and it's easy for the person to understand who you are within a company. So let's take a look at some helpful tools. Bold your name to create separation. Include other relevant information, maybe your office location or a help desk contact number. Provide this information in every email so that way the receiver doesn't have to search for an email with your contact on it. And of course, use the tools. You have all those tools. Make sure to use them at your disposal. So here's what mine looks like. I have best regards here, and then I have my name. I have the university, my position title, and which department I work in, along with my mobile office and email. So very easy to read and understand. And so if I ask you, what university do I work at, it's easy to see it right here. And you can always automate it. So if you if you're using Microsoft Outlook on the web, you would just click on the options at the top right corner and then scroll down and click on see all options, click on settings, and then you would this would open up and you can write your signature here. Make sure to use the tools here to write your complimentary close and your signature, and then click here for automatically include my signature on messages I send. This is fantastic because this is able to streamline the process for you. So whenever you create a new email, this will automatically be included in it. And then of course click save. Now let's take a look at the receivers. There's three sections in an email. There's the to section, the carbon copy section, which is CC, and the blind copy section, which is BCC. Whenever you're sending an email to multiple people, it's important to make sure to put them in their proper location. So if you're sending an email to your boss, but you want to maybe copy your coworker on it, so your coworker is in the loop, you're going to copy your coworker and you're going to put your boss in the to section because he or she is going to need to respond to you, or it's directed towards him or her. Whereas your coworker who's just copied on it is just kept in the loop. BCC is great, maybe if you're sending an email, kind of like what I do with you guys. Whenever I send you guys an email, I send it to everybody in the class, but I blind copy you all. So that way you can't click the reply all button, or you each get your own separate email. It's like a blind copy. So, for some helpful tools, establish who must read the message and reply. These are the people you want to include in the to section. And then establish who needs to be aware of the message. Maybe doesn't necessarily need a reply, and then you would CC them. You don't really have to be CC them. It just blind copies them, so that way they can't, the people who you send it to can't see who you blind copy. Oh, whoops. And you can never go wrong by including someone in CC if you're not sure if this person should be included. Better to take the chance of adding this person to the CC section if you feel they should be in the email. So let's look at a scenario. An employee must send some coworkers an email. However, it will have directions all the coworkers will need to follow. In addition, the sender knows there will need to be a follow-up message during the next week. So the employee wants to send themselves a copy to their inbox as a reminder. A lot of times if I'm about to leave work or if I want to put a reminder and I'm replying to someone in an email, I'll blind copy myself so that way I get a copy of it in my inbox to remind me. So Here I'm sending it to employee 1 at fullerton.edu, and I'm copying employee 2, 3, 4, and 5 on it, and then I'm sending it to myself as a blind copy. And of course, a subject line along with your message. So I like to organize my email. This was when I worked at an online university. This is how I organize my folders. The more folders you have, the easier it is to organize your information. Like I organize my emails by each semester, and then I organize them by class. So that's the gist of email communication and organization, but make sure to read chapter 7 in your textbook, because there is some information that I did not discuss, but it is crucial and important information for you to have as you are writing an email. So again, so for this week, make sure to complete your class form. Your main post is due by Friday, and your 2 responses are due by Sunday. So please make sure to write your main post by Friday and your responses by Sunday. You can write your responses if you like during the week as well too, if you want to finish early as well. And of course, this is only available on September 25th, and it closes after October 1st, 2017. You cannot post in the discussion forum after there, so please make sure to post during the week. So again, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, as a reminder, which I'm sure you've heard many times, all my contact information is right here at the top. Shoot me a text message, call me on my cell phone. It's very easy. I reply right away. I even reply to email, at least I try to right away. So again, I wish you guys all the best of luck this week. And one more reminder, make sure to visit the Business Career Fair. It's a great opportunity. You guys make sure to take advantage of it. Have a wonderful week and good luck to everyone.